the end of our session, and we can start our bathroom break now.
Oh my god.
Papa, more movie!
Dark turn there.
That's crazy.
Holy shit.
I have a
I
question.
have to pee. I have to pee so bad.
I also.
Okay.
Yeah, wait.
I also
Should
have
we all
to,
go
so
potty
I
and then
that.
we start the bathroom break?
Go piss gang.
Go piss
I gotta
Go piss girlies.
Go piss gang. With Rognar, I was like, he needs to be sweet, shy, horrible social anxiety, very insecure, very like rough enough around the edges that people are still intimidated by him.
Hale, you're
but ultimately
serving
heart
right
of
now.
gold.
I just need to say,
Serving.
Hale, you are serving face right now. You are.
No,
I actually stopped. I looked over and you went,
every session.
sorry. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I simply had to comment on the beautiful woman in my top right.
No, for real. No, those actual scenes, I was like actually blushing. I was like,
I love
with me.
PC romance, and I love when there's two PC romances in a 5-person party.
Yeah, I mean,
Three.
romance I think is a stretch with Audrey and, and Matthias at this point. But
If you count the 2 GMs.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to it. I think it's so funny to have like one that's like one romance that immediately takes off, and another that's like,
oh, by season 2, they're fucking.
It also was very much like the first woman I saw.
Perfect. Like the closest woman in proximity.
My hard read is that this goes one of 2 ways, and that is either that Matthias fully falls in love with someone else next episode, or like at the last episode, the 2 of them are like hate fucking. Those are the 2 ways I see this going.
That's
it's like,
or the last episode they hold hands.
Kiss
Or
me.
the last episode they hold hands. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
like fine.
I think this is the first time that I've ever seen.
I want to know what Haley.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Joe, you go. You're head of the ship.
Okay.
Captain.
I think this is the first time, and we invented this, I think, where the DM is a character, not a DM PC, but the character is the showrunner in this case, because you guys lived in a show or whatever. Like, I think we invented that, which I think is really cool.
Innovative.
That is so cool.
We were first. You heard it here. A woman said it, so it's not me being awful.
Yeah, woman said it.
Amazing.
It has to be true.
I also think that it really, I mean, as someone who has been a DM and done the back and forth in a scene, like in a cutaway scene where the PCs are not available for it, so much more natural and seamless when you have 2 DMs actually having a conversation, and it's so much easier to
That way you're
follow.
just not like...
And like trying to do different voices to like make it seem, no, this, I think like it allows for more impactful cutaway scenes that don't involve us, and I'm very excited to see
it makes
more
sense.
of that.
I love the energy of you guys, like, players. You guys know that the scene between Ten and Ray is happening, but your characters obviously don't. So, like, there's an instance of, like, immediate, it's like, oh, now I have to work to not metagame, because now I know that they're fucking, or whatever, you know?
One thing... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
You
DM
go, King.
first.
Okay. Real quick. Did Audrey's show start as like a Nancy Drew type shit and then progress into like fucking murder, or was it like always hard crime?
That's a good question. I was wondering that, because it's like, if we were adopted, it means we were chosen for the show, so it's like... I want to say...
You were like the most inquisitive baby.
Yeah, listen, what I think would be sick and twisted, but also really good, is if it started out with it being, like, kind of a sitcom as she was growing up, and then, like, some sort of, like, call in to vote about what her career path would be happened.
Oh,
and
cute.
Detective 1.
So it's like Doogie Howser just turns into fucking House MD.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, again, I think a lot of it was obviously set up. It's like, you're good at this because we kind of faked it.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, okay, I would say, if it didn't, like, seem clear to you guys, we saw an episode of Rognar's show, and we will see an episode from the rest of your shows as we continue.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, like, give each of you, like, a one-by-one spotlight. Just talk about your character, talk about what you think your show is normally like. Just talk about, like, character creation for you, what their Truman show was like, where they're at now. Just, I don't know, I want to hear from you guys. So, like, Skullie, do you want to start with Rognar, since we already seen an episode of his?
Sure, love it, amazing. The way that we talked about it, Joe and Aaron and I, is that it was like kind of like Flintstones, and I mentioned this a bit, Joe, when you first left. But like I feel like I started off playing him a little bit more naive than I would have liked, and I'm like, I don't know if you noticed me kind of shifting away from that as the session continued, but I definitely think it fits more in this setting to have him be a little bit mixed with, like, Flintstones mixed with, like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, but not quite Game of Thrones, obviously. Like, something in the middle. Maybe something like something on the CW or whatever. Like, when I first made him, I was like, I'm such a sucker for terrifying-looking men that have, like, a heart of gold. And I hadn't played, like, a real sweetie character in a really long time. So I was like, I want to do this. Because I heard it was going to be I was going to be the caveman, and I was like, okay, sweet, love this, amazing.
Caveman round 2 for Skullie.
Yeah, second time I'm playing a cave person character in like a month. So I feel pretty comfortable in this, working in this space as a player. But
I know how to do caveman.
Yeah, I was like, I want a softie who's like terrifying to look at, and like the challenges that come with that. Because I've found in my personal life, the people that actually look like they're scary are actually super sweet deep down, and I wanted to portray that. In terms of like,
3, Rognar gets a Harley.
Oh, dude, that would honestly, it would kind of like work for him.
Margo would be into it.
It's like,
it's kind of like an animal.
Can I like? Yeah, I mean, we can go through everybody, but I do really want to know what Haley thinks of Rognar and what she thinks Margo thinks of Rognar for my own personal reasons. But also, like, because I think we had kind of discussed previously, like in the DMs, like, oh, this could be cute. Like these stories kind of mirror each other because Rognar also looking for love, unable to find it.
Well, yeah, like, I think during your, like, while you're talking about your own character, I'd love if you would say what Rognar thinks of all of the other PCs, and then everybody do the same thing on their turn.
Love that.
If I can jump in for just a moment, I've fully gotten the mental image of Rognar on a Harley with Margo behind him side saddle.
Ooh!
I love it. No, she would be in front of him. She could like make sure that
bridal carry in the arms while he's.
Yeah, she could be side saddle, but she's in front of him. And
I love it
because he's protecting her, and I think like very much like he sees her as delicate flower, everything, beautiful. Feminine woman, beautiful goddess, ethereal, most amazing, fantastic person ever, and especially because she's been like nice to him. I think it takes very little for Rognar for someone in his life to like become so important to him. Because he's had so few people that trust him and like see him as a person and like for who he really is. So I think, I'm sorry, is it Matthias or Matthias? Finish chewing first.
It's Matthias.
Matthias. I think Matthias very much so like showing Rognar respect, and especially respect from someone who is like maybe coming across as a buffoon but has the confidence that he so desires. And Margo being someone who has shown him kindness, being someone who he is, like, so deeply infatuated by, I think just means the world to him. So, honestly, in terms of, like, his situation previously, yeah, his whole life was a lie, and, like, he's gonna have to unpack that for sure at some point, but he's on the up and up, baby. This is already a better situation, I think, in terms of, like, having friends. I think Della very much comes across to him as someone who is, like, cool. Like, again, like, that, like, confidence and just the ability to say whatever is on her mind and with complete assurance, I think is very inspiring to him. And I think I would love to see in future sessions how he models his behavior after, like, the confidence and the, like, coolness that, like, Della so easily exudes. And I think Audrey very similarly, like, just walking into a situation and saying exactly what she feels and having her thoughts and feelings immediately, like, received in a serious, real way. I think that also inspires him. There's a lot of really, really powerful ladies here that I'm excited to see how Rognar takes to them. And I do think immediately very protective over everybody that's here. And I'm excited to see how that develops too, because I feel like
they're all united by the same lie.
This is his little
found
family.
family.
We've all been put through. Yeah, we've all been put through the same ringer.
When the family gets found.
I think he does feel very protective over everybody here.
Beautiful. How about Princess Margo?
Her show. If anybody's ever seen like Rain, or even I guess House of the Dragon, The Crown, it's very much like centered on one person. She's heavily by everybody around her. And it's just her daily life. Like, she's got this hidden romance with her loyal guard. I'm a sucker for the loyal guard trope. So, oh god, headphones. As for how she feels about everybody, Ragnar's a cutie. I think she's hesitant because, you know, the person that she was in love with for the last, like, 10 years, fake. So, but she's definitely very charmed by him.
Just kind of, like, almost like, yeah, I gotta latch onto something real quick so I don't think about Eric too much, like.
A bit coping, but she's like, he's nice, he's sweet, he's safe. That's cool. Like that.
There's too many things changing at once. I must latch on to something.
She's not a real princess her whole life. What is she? Who's her family? Like, she knows nothing. I think she's a little intimidated from Della. Like, she was never allowed to live free like that and just be themselves. That's so cool and also a little scary. The same with Audrey. She's, like, just the way they carry themselves, she's so impressed by that. She's always been just prim, proper, doing what she needed to do. For Matthias, I think she's a little amused by him.
Like a jester.
He talks a lot. She finds him funny, so she's not sure how to feel about that. She's just putting everything together.
Yeah. How about Della?
I love how, like,
Oh,
Della and Audrey have, like, kind of unintentionally taken on this, like, big sister type role almost, where it's like, yeah, fuck with my family and I'll fuck with you. Like, what do you want? What do you want, bitch?
We're not doing this.
Twin black cats. Twin black cats have immediately, like, coupled up right next to each other, like two badass women.
Oh,
Closest
bonded parents,
Strong,
not
independent
separate.
women pulled well with our target audiences.
Target audience.
We feminist.
Well, and also, like, you two
Exactly.
are, of everyone here, you two are the closest time-wise. 1850 and 1920,
Yeah.
nothing compared to 2175 or whatever Matthias said versus prehistory. Even from caveman to 1200s. Even from caveman to 1200s, we're talking 1200 years, 1,200 years, you know.
It's crazy.
Yeah. For Della, yeah. Her show, how much do I want to say if we're gonna see an episode of it? I'll give what I've hinted at. She ran away from her rich family because she is very rebellious and wanted adventure. Became a barmaid because her parents would hate it. And then started a fling with a cowboy. Ooh. Who's not real. And I think I think she became, like, very jaded after realizing that her whole life was a lie and she risked so much in her eyes that wasn't really a risk. She's always definitely had... I did not intend to make her as bitchy as I ended up making her originally, but it's fun to be a little bit of a bitch, so that's the path I went down.
I feel like if she's not normally a bitch, like, in her day-to-day, I think this is a situation that warrants bitchiness.
Oh, yes. I think she was, like, a bit of a bitch in her day-to-day because she's, like, a rebellious rich kid who like, thinks she is better off on her own and wants adventure. But I think she's very much, like, at her worst right now. As for what she thinks of everyone, she thinks Matthias is just uppity and probably thinks of him similarly to the people that were in high society that she had to deal with, where she's just like, what? Why are we doing this? We don't need to do all this. Relax. But, she's entertained by it. Nonetheless, she just wants to talk shit about something because she doesn't have anyone to talk shit about anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
She picked the easy target. She thinks Audrey is the most normal person here, not only because they're close in timeline, but just because, I mean, their personalities mesh so well. Margo, I think she's intrigued, but also like, oh, hi, another high society person here, like, this is what I'm gonna be surrounded with. I ran away from this shit.
Whoa.
And I don't think she has much of an impression of Rognar yet. She's just kind of like interested to learn about Rognar.
Like a creepy, horrifying man standing in the corner, you're like, I'm gonna keep talking to this slightly futuristic lady.
Yeah. She's confused on why he's so strong and tough and yet so shy, because, I mean,
yeah,
she does not understand what he has to be shy about, but
yeah,
yet he is.
Awesome. What about Audrey?
Talking about show first, right? I think the show was very much, like a typical detective thing, so where people would be coming to her for problems and figuring stuff out, and she'd do her thing. I'm on the fence about how structured it would have been mystery-wise, whether it would have been like all the mysteries are completely planned out and then they were just breadcrumbing her, or if it's like, if she was picking up on stuff, if they would change the mystery as she was finding clues and like picking things to focus on. I think it would, not really sure yet, but I think a lot of it was that. And I feel like they probably scripted something bad to happen to her family. I feel like she doesn't have any family, so thinking about that, it's like, that was fake. Those people that were my family were, one, not my family, and two, probably not dead.
Yeah.
Because they're actors. I think, I'll go in chronological order. I think Rognar, she probably sees a little bit like he's an animal. Like, in terms of, like, I know it sounds terrible. Like,
Ooh!
Like, ooh. You know what I mean, though? It's like, he has so little understanding of, like, literally any of the stuff that we've been doing. It's, like, crazy. Hold on, is this my mom telling me to be quiet? Yeah. My mom just texted me, wow, so loud.
Oh my god.
We're playing D&D, Mom.
Mom.
Anyways, but I think definitely that. And just in the case of, like, she is gonna feel like if he's confused, she will help him, and she's expecting him to be confused a lot.
That's sweet
because-
though. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't mean it like a bad way. It's like you straight up don't know what's going on.
He's not human to me.
He is subhuman. That's what I heard. But then you clarified, and I heard he's a golden retriever, and
He's
I
a
wanted to care
baby.
Yeah, he's a baby.
A creature. I think Margo, she's interested in the fact that it's like you were royalty, and you like. I feel like being one of the ones who probably like has a concept of these vague historical times not exactly correct because of it, because you know, like not all history was correct at that period, but you know what I mean, like vaguely knowing like what to expect from these time periods. She's like, you are from a completely different set of social standards than we exist in right now, and she's just, I think she's just very interested in everyone and being like, okay. Della, I think it's very similar where it's like, we are already sick of this. And I think it's a similar thing of realizing like, all of the things that happened to me were a setup. I just feel like that's what both of them are focusing on right now, so they probably are pretty similar. I think, Matthias, it's like, she respects him because he understands the technology, and it's like, she's not like, you're stupid, she's just like, you talk way too much about things that we now know are not real.
I mean, he did burn his arm very badly.
He did, but the thing is, he knew how to use the GPS, and he knows what a screen looks like, so that's impressive in one way or another. It's like, you know how to use
Doesn't have to ask for direction.
When he knows how to use the GPS built into the car. When you've only ever driven a Model T before.
That's so hot.
But yeah, no, I think that's pretty much right. It's gonna take a lot of getting used to everyone's different little like little quirks, and I think in her little detective brain she's filing them away. It's like, okay, you're gonna react like this, and you're gonna react like this because you don't know what this is, and blah 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 blah. And meanwhile, she's like, wow, there's a light in the refrigerator. This apartment has full working electricity. Pretty nice.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
And then what about Captain Matthias B. Halifax?
B stands for Brant. His show definitely played out as like a Star Trek show. You know, all about like adventure and like exploration and whatnot. So just very gallivanting in nature. And like as for people, I definitely in order I suppose, but like Rognar, obviously they had a moment together, like of just like, got your back, we're tight. Yeah, and I think he like very similar in the sense that like you are an imposing figure. You don't really need to be like, you can have some confidence to you and this and that. So I think almost like a big brother kind of way, even though he's like half his size.
You are to the day the same age too, which is really fun.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Margo definitely. I think the captain definitely spent a lot of his time in the and on his ship, just looking at like old, historical recordings and stuff. So he's got a general idea of where people are at. So it's very, on the surface, definitely he's very bravado, but I think he's very analytical about like, okay, these time periods and like this and that. Kind of what you were saying too about like detective brain, but not quite so much. I don't know that they've interacted much, but he's kind of stuck in his own like spacefaring way still. So he's not really ready to admit that that's out and that he can interact with these people on their level. Della for sure, I think he admires as like this like roguish, right? Because she's like not an outlaw per se, but like she doesn't want to follow the rules kind of thing. Matthias is that kind of like James T. Kirk, my way or the highway, like I'm gonna be an adventurer or whatever. She wears pants, so yeah, he could definitely see her serving on his on the bridge. And Audrey, he is currently infatuated, but like, again, it's one of those kind of, at least currently, it's one of those fleeting things where it's like, he, yes, is very heroic and blah 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 or whatever, but has kind of left a trail of broken hearts or whatever prior, so he's kind of not, you know, not the best in that sense, but so he's definitely infatuated, and again, very, like, sees her for the detective kind of thing that she's doing, so.
He loves feminist
sees some
women.
bravado.
Yes.
He loves being talked back to.
Oh!
It sounds like you had something to say, Abby?
Me? Yes. I just was thinking, because I know that, like, we were, like, constructed in our time periods, but I really like me because it's like it's a show, so not all the, like, for literally, like, readability of, like, people watching it, we really can't be, like, none of the shows could, like, be talking and, like, how they would have been talking back then. So it's just so funny to me, the idea of, like, these are actors and we're speaking normal, like, pretty modern English for these time periods, but it's like, we as the time period, like, the people in it, we don't know any different because what do we know about the real whatever time period we're in? So it's like, I think it's just very funny where it's like,
dude.
Yeah, it's like, it's not.
I stand by the fact, I stand by Della like hearing dude in passing from like
I feel like
PA
it
or
hadn't
something.
been.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's
yeah.
not.
I had the same.
Yeah, it's not cavemen. It's like the Flintstones. It's a modern show about cavemen, kind of. Like, you know, it wouldn't be what you're actually talking about with space travel. It'd be like audience understandable terms and stuff when we're talking about Halifax.
It's very much like, it's not historically accurate, but we as people who were raised in it have literally no inkling otherwise. Which I
was thinking of some, like a funny little thing too when I was like said alien dialects as one of my skills or whatever. It's really just like people speaking Spanish, like as another like
he just
there's a
knows
German
Latin.
planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just knows languages, but he thinks it's like fully Antharian from
You're
wherever.
gonna build legal door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so like Aaron, you kind of have a PC here too. Do you want to talk about your PC?
Yes, I was actually going to propose that we both, like, say what our PC's favorite show was.
Okay. Whatever.
Trenten proposes in episode 6. Get over it. We can't rush the arc.
Duh.
What? I didn't understand that. I'm just a woman.
Don't worry about it. Just to help let the surprise come.
Oh my god.
I think Trenten is terrified by this. He is horrified by the fact that this could go wrong. He doesn't at all for a moment regret any of what they did, but now that there might be consequences, he's like, fuck, don't let there be consequences.
Yeah. I think Raegan is opposed to Tim on that matter. Where, like, taking that first shift in the headset, she feels really bad for you guys and for this, like, hard adjustment period that you guys are having. And is just like, there's gotta be something the company can do to make this, like, this severing of ties, this transition easier. And, like, I think everybody can kind of see, you know, Ten and Ray were like, just a little side eye, where we've been working together for 30 plus years on this show, on the one that failed before it, and we're disagreeing on something. But I think also, like, we had talked about, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm just going to say it and you can be mad at me if you want. But Ten was the primary showrunner on Rognar, Margo, and Della.
Yes.
And I was the primary showrunner on Audrey and Halifax. So I had a higher budget because I'm working with more modern things, especially with Halifax's show. And I believe, like, equal-wise, I was probably like the main pioneer on the show that ended up being pulled.
Yes.
A long while
and
ago.
I think one thing that, like, you were only working on 2 shows, not because you could only handle 2 shows, but because both of these shows were twice as complex, because not only are you having to make mysteries for Audrey to solve, but then you're also having to figure out the logistics of, like, how the fuck do we get Halifax to this new planet? What soundstage is not being used right now? Where can we put him?
And, like, Rognar's show is so low maintenance. So I feel like he's just like, yeah, I don't know, out of Velociraptor Derby.
You know, find something that looks like a saber tooth and put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of Velociraptor.
Is Ragnar killing animals?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So he actually does have skills to, like, kill things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you've really killed real animals.
Okay.
Because you're really eating them.
I think Trenten doesn't pull any punches on your 3 shows.
No.
So it's like, Top Guns, no. If Della's getting in a shootout and she gets hit in the shoulder, that's good television. And it's like...
But in...
actually released the plague on Margo's family.
Yes. In Audrey's show... But in Audrey's show, because Raegan's running it, no one actually died in these murder mysteries. Like, we're very... cleverly staging it and like do medicine to make their heart rate seem to have stopped and whatever. She's also using 1920s crime solving things so they don't have like you know, technology
She's
to
not
see
a medic.
Somebody's gone missing and there's a shoe and a bangle and a wristband.
Yes.
She's not a medic. She just knows that people are dead.
And all of the aliens that are dying in Halifax are all CGI, like avatars that are being killed. So
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
He's just fully in a haptic feedback suit with like a little... He's got glasses that are just like VR goggles.
That's crazy. He just doesn't
It's all
know.
just AR.
he thinks he has to put
These are all
on like these goggles to man
Like
the
a
ship.
helmet?
Yeah, he has a helmet that's actually
Yeah.
it shows in the VR.
That's
insane.
crazy.
Oh my god.
He thinks it's like a sea invisibility helmet, so if he ever took it off and saw that the aliens disappeared, he's like, those bastards! Now I can see
He's
you!
got a cloak.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Do
so good.
do they have real guns as well? Like actively, like in the real world now? We brought them out. Love it.
I think I would have confiscated your futuristic ones.
For sure.
But
I meant the girls, the ladies.
I think the girls both
Yeah.
have their
Oh, I
snub
have the guns.
noses. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we took our guns back. If they got confiscated, we got them back.
pistol.
We have guns.
I still have my phaser, but it literally just says like pew, pew.
Well, it's not.
Like Buzz Lightyear. Like
It
the Buzz
wasn't a
Lightyear
real
moment.
gun.
That's why it was so familiar. That's why it was so familiar. I was like,
Oh,
Matthias tests Buzz Lightyear energy. So
You
good.
you have a proton phaser, but it doesn't do anything because that technology does not exist. It's a little prop gun.
Yeah.
I
Della
would like to...
fully ran out. Nope.
Oh, go.
I was gonna say Della fully ran out to the fridge with her gun pulled. Like
Yes,
she
she did.
thought the
Yes.
scream was.
I would like to go around real quick and have us all, like, in character say what our favorite shows of all of these would have been, do we think?
I mean, Rognar's favorite show, of course, would be Margo's. Except he would skip through all the parts where she was pining over someone else.
Oh.
He's got a VCR.
Yeah, wouldn't be able to figure out streaming, or I don't know. Maybe that would be easier for him. Yeah, find a way to skip through, or he'd just close his eyes and cover his ears.
No.
La 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 la. Yeah.
That's so good.
I think Margo would be fascinated by Della's show. The fact that she just gets to eat herself.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the fact that my laugh sounded like Ken from the Barbie movie. Anyway.
Ha ha ha.
Good one, Barbie.
Right again.
Oh god. I think, honestly, Della's favorite probably would be Audrey's. I think she just would love to get to see another badass woman.
I've got a gun in my garter. I think Audrey really would have liked Margo's show for the drama, because the regal stuff, it is traumatic. It's
Yeah.
truly just ridiculous. So I think that's she would watch it and be like, oh,
I can see Audrey watching Margo's show and smoking a cigarette and being like,
absolutely, with the glass
this is
of
fucking good television.
this in the glass of wine, it's like, oh my god!
She
just
knows
honestly,
she's
that
fucking
just made me
dead,
realize if we'd be able to watch our own shows.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Matthias is definitely his own. He watches his own exploits all the time. He sits and listens to his own like captain's log from the day before just to make sure he sounded as cool and as adventurous as possible.
He's like,
so.
this is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah,
That's absolutely
you gotta pay
perfect.
attention.
He like gets him
I
on
love
like fucking
Sundottir.
gold records.
So good.
Yeah, I think
He's definitely, when he
that
finds out how many people did watch him, he's gonna be like makes sense.
I think that from purely like enjoying it standpoint, Raegan likes Audrey's the most, but in terms of like, I'm proud of my production value on this one, Halifax.
Yeah.
I think 10 fully puts most of his budget into Margo's show, and he's fully like got a whole second office where it's just like corkboard and red fucking yarn, and he's like, okay, I gotta figure out who is going to almost get assassinated this season, who is going to fight for Margo's hand, what's going to happen. God, please stop trying to put dragons in the show.
Yeah.
No dragons.
We have one mage, and that budget was already insane to get a mage.
He had to take from the Halifax budget for that. It was ridiculous, and it caused a lot of arguments. You wouldn't believe what he had to do to get me to say yes to and sign off on that budget transfer.
It's crazy.
And all it ended up being was
Matthias
like a
finding out
fucking
about-
water into wine trick or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. It's that
I love
spark
it.
paper.
Matthias finding out about Matthias finding out about Comic-Con and like signing up to be on every panel
my
possible to see all the fans.
Oh my god!
But it's
Oh
like
my
witness,
God.
we're in witness protection. We all go to Comic-Con.
No, so
Crazy.
you guys are not in witness protection.
Yeah, only the rest of the cast
The
are.
actors are. in
All
case
of
you
the
know,
other
you guys
actors are. You guys are in.
I
You
was
guys were
literally
placed
just
in
thinking,
the
I was
town.
like, Rognar would be your security. Like,
Yeah.
if he has to get a job, he'd be like security. Like,
You guys are placed in the town in the U.S. that they saw had the least amount of viewers of the network's shows.
Yeah.
So you're least likely to get recognized here. Which ended up being Harleyville, South Carolina, which is a real place 2 hours from my home. I'm going to go ahead and end this bathroom break here. We have some planning to do to figure out when we're going to meet the rest of this time.
This is true.
Hope you enjoyed
Yes.
our little chat back, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye.